Over 300,000 people debated our initial breakdown of this matchup. The comments section devolved into a predictable tribal war. On one side, purists claim the ultimate livestock guardian is entirely untouchable. On the other, advocates back the absolute, unyielding gameness of the Western gladiator. But the algorithm doesn't care about emotional bias, and neither does physics. When you isolate the skeletal frameworks of the Sivas Kangal and the true American Pitbull Terrier, you discover a matchup that completely defies standard predatory logic. This is not a question of which dog is more aggressive. It is a calculated analysis of mass efficiency, mechanical leverage, and respiratory economics. Let us examine the raw data. We begin with the sheer physics of scale. A pure Sivas Kangal operates at a massive structural advantage, scaling between 55 and 65 kilograms. It is an apex guardian engineered for open-range territorial defense. Its long bones are dense, built to absorb the immense kinetic trauma of full-speed collisions with apex wolves. Crucially, the Kangal's broad cranial geometry delivers an independently verified clamping force of 743 psi. This is a structural vice specifically designed to fracture bone on initial impact. Combined with a sprinting velocity of 50 kilometers per hour, the Kangal functions as a high-speed kinetic weapon. It relies on its immense size to physically crush its opponent's center of gravity within the opening seconds of a dispute. But cross the Atlantic, and you meet an animal built under entirely different architectural rules, the American Pitbull Terrier. Weighing merely 25 to 30 kilograms, it is vastly outsized on paper. To a casual viewer, the matchup seems absurd. But the Pitbull's weapon is not mass. It is structural efficiency and an evolutionary anomaly known as gameness. Its lower center of gravity makes it incredibly difficult to knock off balance or pin down. While its bite force scales far lower than the Kangal's, at roughly 235 psi, its skull architecture features a massive, deep set of masseter muscles that allow it to clamp down and hold with relentless consistency, completely ignoring pain signals that would force any other canine to capitulate. When these two entirely distinct biological designs collide, the battlefield dictates the outcome. If you missed our previous breakdown analyzing how a heavyweight domestic frame like the Pitbull utilizes a deep, lock-and-hold defensive matrix to neutralize the lethal high-velocity ambushes of wild big cats, click the video popping up on your screen right now to review the structural data. In a localized confrontation, the physics favor the giant. A 65-kilogram Kangal moving at high velocity possesses an explosive kinetic impact that a 30-kilogram dog simply cannot match. If the Kangal secures an immediate hold on the skull or spine, it can end the match instantly through sheer mechanical trauma. But what happens if the Gladiator survives the initial storm? This is where the battle shifts from a contest of force into a war of respiratory economics. The Pitbull is a masterpiece of lactic acid management. It does not tire, and it does not yield. If it successfully avoids a lethal structural bite from the Kangal's massive jaws, its low center of gravity allows it to burrow inside the Guardian's reach, systematically attacking the limbs and throat. For the Kangal, this is an unfamiliar, exhausting style of warfare. It is bred to fight wolves that attempt to flee or slash and retreat. It is not designed for a relentless, close-quarters grappling match against an opponent that literally welcomes the trauma. As the minutes tick past, the Kangal's massive bulk begins to demand a heavy metabolic price. The data leaves us with a stark conclusion. In an open, high-impact terrain, the Kangal's overwhelming mass, lethal velocity, and record-breaking bite force allow it to dictate and dominate the asset. But in a prolonged, claustrophobic war of attrition, raw gameness threatens to overturn the physics of scale. The data is clear. Which architecture do you back to survive the clash? Drop your anatomical analysis in the comments section below, hit that subscribe button, and join us as we continue to break down the true anatomy of power. This is Wild Facts. Stay wild.